Until that point, I had always basically worked full time and played music almost full time.
Thank you for your patience. You're all set.
All the patience needed.
How are you so calm as a person? You just have that energy. Were you always like this?
Yeah, I think I was pretty quiet. Being a plumber, being an electrician, like that requires manipulating things in the real world. And robots aren't there yet.
Which was the first song?
Just by definition, like if you're an artist, you write a song and you release it and nobody listens to it, it's private.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like your failure is private.
Hi everyone, welcome to the third episode. If you haven't watched the previous ones, this is going to be a lot about how one could design their own life. And I'm a big fan of Lucas. I have been attending all his concerts on Thursdays, so he's a special guest for today. Hi Lucas, thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having me. I love it.
So maybe let's get started about your background, maybe where you come from.
Yeah. I grew up on a little farm in Kansas, which is a state in the middle of the United States. So Kansas is very rural. There's not many people. It's very agricultural. I grew up with cows and chickens and sheep and horses and, just kind of everything about a farm, shooting guns and drive. I learned how to drive when I was 4 years old.
Oh,
Like
4 years old.
4. Yeah. So
How's
like
that possible?
it's just that's how everybody does it out there. Like back it used to be that people needed help on the farm and that's why they had a lot of kids, And so as soon as the kids were big enough to help out, open a gate or drive a pickup or carry something, then So grew up out there. Come from a decent sized family. I've got 4 sisters and 1 brother.
You are which one?
I'm second.
So you have an older brother or
I have
a
an
sister?
older sister. Yeah, I have an older sister, and then everybody else is younger. Um, I was a really curious kid. I loved to read. I read everything that I could find. I loved playing sports. I was a decent athlete until I started to get hurt. I got in some farm accidents and got hurt, and so then ended up leaving high school. Graduated, went to college, Kansas State University, and majored in economics and engineering. Got a graduate degree in economics, and during the time I was there, I was the student body president of that college as well, with my little sister. She was my vice president.
Oh.
It's the only time that's ever happened in the United States. It's so cool. So, I was pumped about that. But that's kind of my background. My dad farmed, but he was also a drummer, and he played drums in a rock band.
Oh.
So he did that like on the weekends, for like local bars, local dances, and they would play like 60s and 70s rock and roll music. My mom, she started a couple businesses herself, like little businesses, took care of the kids, and she also played organ and stuff at church. So she's always been a piano player too. So
it's a music family.
kind of, yeah.
Your siblings as well?
No, not at all.
Just you?
Yeah, not at all. Nobody really pursued music. Not past like high school. Yeah, and I didn't start playing guitar till I was 21 years old. So, yeah.
What was that story? What made you want to play guitar?
Yeah, so when I was young, when I was about 13, 14 years old, I started driving a tractor. And so I would drive a tractor all day long, like 16, 18 hours a day. And the place that I grew up was so rural that there was only 2 radio stations, right?
Mhm.
And so if you're listening to the radio 16 hours a day, all you hear are the same songs over and over and
Yeah.
over, and you get so tired of it. And so I would just shut the radio. I finally just shut the radio off. I was so sick of it. I couldn't take it anymore. I couldn't take the music. And so for like days, weeks, I would just run this tractor in silence all day long. And after like, I don't know, a week or so, I started like just humming to myself. And then I would start singing. Like I just had words coming to my mouth. And I'd always written poetry, even when I was like, I think when I was like first grade, kindergarten, I started writing poetry. And so I started like singing to myself in the tractor. And then I started like make songs. And so I would sing songs to myself. And I was like, oh, I gotta keep these somehow. I gotta write these down, but you can't like write while you're
While
driving
you're
the tractor.
driving, yeah.
So I brought a dry erase marker, like a magic marker for a dry erase board, and I would write them on the window, on the inside. So I'd write my lyrics on the inside of the window, and then at the end of the day, when I was filling up with fuel for the next day, I would copy them down into a little notebook, and then I'd wipe it off, and I'd start again. And so I had this big book of all these song lyrics that I'd written, but I never played guitar. I never wanted to play guitar. I never really sang. I was in choir for like 8 weeks, and then I quit
But
because
how old were you
when
when?
I was in high school, so like 17. I quit because it conflicted with something else that I was doing. So um, then I went to college, and I was still like I was writing poetry all the time. Um, and I would sing these little songs, and my buddies were like, "Oh, that's good. You should do something with them." And they told me like, go find a guy with a band and see if that guy will like play your songs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody's gonna do that.
Why?
Yeah, because it's annoying, right? Like I understand it now. If somebody comes to me and they're like, "Hey, I've got this song. Do you want to play it?" I'm like, "I've got like 400 songs that I wrote that I still don't play because I'm not done with them. Like I got to get to this before I get to your stuff." And so for like 2.5 years, I like chased this dude around, this one guy, and I was like, "Will you play my song?" And he just kept ignoring me, kept ignoring me. And so finally, on my 21st birthday, I made my first ever purchase online. My first ever online purchase I bought through Amazon. I bought a guitar. It showed up on my 21st birthday. I stood up my girlfriend and I stayed home and I tried to learn how to play guitar. And yeah,
Why
that's where
why
it started.
guitar? Why no other instrument?
Why guitar?
Mhm.
I think by that time, okay, so by that time, I had fallen in love with a new kind of music. It was something that was a fairly new genre at the time. And today it's known as either like red dirt country or Texas country. And more red dirt country, but red dirt refers to the color of the dirt in the state of Oklahoma. Like they have a lot of iron in their soil,
Mhm.
and so it makes the dirt red, like it really red. So this genre of music kind of originated in Stillwater, Oklahoma, which is um, just like a state south of where Kansas is. And these bands would come up and they would play in Kansas, and they weren't really on the radio. Like nobody really had their CDs. Like they were small bands. Like they weren't well known. Nobody knew who they were. But there was this bar that I would go to in college, and all these bands would come through there and play because the guy who owned the bar was a huge fan of that kind of music, and so he wanted all of them to come. So it was like, gosh, man, this is such a cool question to ask because I was so lucky because at the time, none of those bands played anywhere except for Oklahoma and Texas. Like they didn't go other places really, except they would come to this one bar in Kansas
Where you would also
that
go.
I was, yeah. And not only that, I fell in love with this kind of music, and it's the type of music is like it's like a mix of like classic rock and grunge and Americana and blues kind of. So it's a very like authentic sounding. It's not like polished. It's kind of more of a rough sounding type of music, like country rock type of thing. And anyways, I love that music, and I decided that I was going to get a job at that bar. because I knew that one day I wanted to play on their stage. I didn't even own a guitar yet, but I went down and I got hired as a bouncer, as like a doorman, you know? And so I got hired as a bouncer to work there, which meant that I got to go to all the concerts for free, right? So yeah, I guess that's kind of how I started there. And then I played my first show when I was 22, maybe. I started playing at an open mic night. Like my biggest dream I could ever imagine was to be able to play the open mic night at this little pizza place. Like,
did it happen?
No, because the pizza place closed down before I ever got to play there, which was hilarious, right? But there was another open mic night that started up, and that open mic was run by the guy that had been avoiding me for 3 years, 3 years, the guy that I was trying to get him to play my music, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I start showing up at this open mic night, and the first time I went and played, everybody else goes up there and they play cover songs, right? And I didn't care about other people's music. I just had my music, and it was in my head, and I wanted to get it out. Like I wanted to. So I went up there and I played all original songs, and I was not good. But all my friends were there, and they were cheering and stuff. And this guy came up to me afterwards, and he was like, "Hey, yeah, I've been avoiding you for like 2.5 years, but would you like to open for my band tomorrow night?"
Oh, wow.
So I got like that was my first ever paying gig. I got paid $40 to open for his band the next night. So yeah, that's where it is. Aaron Traffis in Sharon, Kansas. That's the boy. Yeah,
So-
my best friend.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
We ended up. So after that, he started taking me around, and we would play duo acoustic shows. Like he'd play acoustic, I would play acoustic, and we would just go back and forth. You call it a song swap, right? And we probably played 500-600 shows together, just all over Kansas, up in Nebraska, down in Oklahoma, a little over in Missouri, I think. And yeah, so yeah.
So you guys are
he
still
went-
best friends?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
where's he?
He's back in Sharon, Kansas. He's a farmer, and he still plays music. In fact, he plays more and more music. And I think they're recording a new album right now. Yeah, he's awesome. Aaron Traffis Band.
So how do you get your inspiration? Because in films we see that you only get inspiration when something really strong happens
Yeah.
that really affects your life. Do you think that's true?
I think it's true for some people.
Mhm.
I think like I've known people that are songwriters. Like they get up and they have their coffee and they sit down and they have like a fish bowl, and there's like little scraps of paper, and there's different topics written on the scrap of paper, right? And you just reach in, pull one out, and whatever that, if it like it's like a broken finger or bad lasagna or a stinky goldfish, whatever it is. It's like that's what you're writing a song about. And those are people that are just true songwriters. They get up and their job is to like hone their craft at writing songs.
Is it possible to be great at songwriting if you do it this way? Like,
Yeah.
this approach works?
Yeah. Because it's just like it's anything else. It's a skill. So like the more you do it, right, the better. If you write 10,000 songs, you have a better chance of writing 100 good songs than if you write 1,000, right? I've not written that many, and I really struggle to be motivated to write something if I'm not feeling something. So for the longest time, a lot of my music was about, when I first started writing songs, I was just trying to do what everybody else did. So I wrote songs about like partying and girls and stuff I didn't know. I didn't understand. Like I wasn't that popular. I didn't like to drink. I didn't party much. And I kind of I started learning my lesson. I started writing about like more like philosophy, and I started writing a lot about the farm and my family and small towns. I started writing about the things that I knew, right? And because I was writing about the things that I knew, I wrote a lot better songs. And so I think my writing's gotten a lot better as the time has moved on. But I still like, I'll look back and every once in a while I'll listen to something that I did 15 years ago. And, when you're young, you've got so much like naivete towards the world, that you explore things with no shame, like
Yeah.
it's a very therapeutic thing to write a song, especially if your heart broke or if you're in love or somewhere in between, right? Which is where most people are all the time.
Yeah.
They're either in love or heartbroke or somewhere in between. And so there's a lot of stuff you can write about there. And I don't know. Yeah, I look back and I'm pretty proud. Like I like being clever. Like I like to use words in a clever way. Um, I don't really like stuff that's like on the nose, like blunt. So I kind of want somebody to have to think if they want to understand. So yeah, I try to write for like the second level.
But which was the first song you wrote?
Man, I should have brought my guitar.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't think about that. So the
You
first,
should take a break and get it.
I could, yeah, I could. I think the first song that I wrote, the first song I ever remember recording or anything, it was called Bottles of Bud.
Okay.
So like Budweiser beer.
Oh,
Right. So, yeah.
how old were you? 21?
19.
Oh, it's before your guitar came in.
Yeah, I wrote this song probably 2 years before I had a guitar. Yeah. A lot of my songs, not a lot, a couple of them. Yeah, I think Bottles of Bud was probably the first one, and it was we like simple country things that aren't hard to find, like floating down the river on the 4th of July, taking out our trucks and finding some mud, girls in string bikinis and bottles of Bud, right? It's just college, like drinking, but yeah, that's what we did. That's what we did back then. So
Yeah.
that's what made sense. Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. That makes me laugh thinking about that.
So, which was the first song you wrote when you fell in love?
Oh yeah. So I've got a couple like albums where like there's like 8 songs on the album, and they're all about one girl,
Oh,
right? And so Lindsay was the girl when I was in college. She was the first one that I was like madly writing songs about. And this song that I do love this song. This song is called Last of Your Kind. So it was this like relationship where I never knew where I stood with her. Like I didn't know if we were a serious thing. I didn't know if like she was just like being polite and like not like I never knew. And so I had this idea, this phrase in my mind. I was like, like I don't like basically tell me you love me or let me go. But either way, I hope you're the last of your kind. Like I hope I never meet anybody like you again. And and that's supposed to go both ways. Like if we're in love, then I don't ever want to meet anybody like you.
Yeah.
Just it's just you. But if it's not, then man, like because if you can't tell, then you just get upside down in your brain. So yeah, either way, I hope you're the last of your kind. Yeah, last of your kind. That was it.
Did you write any songs about the heartbreak as well?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I
You
mean,
did?
that was one of them. There was another one. I was just playing it today. It's called Sinner's Sore. And it's they're gut wrenching lyrics to think about. It's when you can't fight any longer and you're face down on the floor, remember love don't take turns, don't care about who loves who more. It ain't in a bottle, a fairy tale, or a rhyme. Love is unique, it can't be defined. Love needs no forgiveness, just one heart and one more. Love gives wings to angels and teaches sinners to soar. Oh, yeah, I was laying on the floor, sad, when I wrote that song. I remember exactly where I was when I wrote that song. I remember what the carpet felt like.
How old is this?
I was 21.
And you still
20
remember?
Yeah, 21 or 22. Yeah,
The year? Do you mean 2021 or do you mean when you were 21?
when I was 21.
That's oh.
Yeah, that's a ways ago.
But you still remember how
Oh
it felt.
yeah. I remember exactly how that felt. Yeah, it's just such strong emotion, like just such strong emotion that takes you to a place that, and I would like suffer in it and wallow in like that pain, and then finally I would write down what I'd already had in my head for weeks, right? It's like, it's not like I thought those lyrics up on the spot. It was like I'd been singing that song in my head for a while. And then I finally would it's like writing songs like that is a physically exerting process because it literally feels like you're ripping emotion out of your body by the root and just pulling it out. And I remember feeling like nauseous, like not like feeling like I wanted to throw up as I'm writing these words, but like knowing that I had to get it done. Like if you get it done, if you get it on the page, and it's just like if you're going through a hard thing in life, if you write it out,
You feel better?
you feel better,
Yeah.
right? Because it's there now and it's not as, the scary things in life, they all hide in the dark, right? They all hide behind doors. They're all hidden in the shadows. But as soon as you put light on something, as soon as you put words to something, then it becomes so much less intimidating, just so much. It is what it is, right?
But don't you think if you write something, it also becomes real? Like that feeling becomes real?
I mean, that feeling was way more real until I got it out. And when I got it out, that's when you look at it. Honestly, I feel like that's when I looked at it and I would be like, this is what has been making me lay in bed. This is what has been making me not go out and see my friends. This is what has been making me just feel bad about myself. And when it's that, it, maybe it is more real, but it's like, you ever had a splinter, like a sticker in your finger or something like that, like a shard of something that went into your hand and you had to pull it out? I don't know, like it's like if you have like a sliver, that goes into your skin, like it hurts and hurts and hurts and hurts and hurts and hurts and hurts, and it really hurts when you pull it out, and then once it's out, it doesn't hurt anymore, right? So it's like, yeah, the pain of pulling it out does hurt,
But it's better than like
but it's
keeping
better
it
than
there.
leaving it
Yeah,
in and letting
yeah.
it fester and get infected, and yeah, yeah.
But do you think you would consider yourself more self-aware than most people because you're an artist, so you possibly acknowledge all the emotions that you feel?
Um, That's a good question. I don't. I would say that I am. I find myself. So I know when I take like personality tests and stuff, I rank really high on like empathy. I also rank really low on politeness, which is strange,
Yeah.
right? But it's just like I don't know, but like I often find myself looking at someone else and wondering why they don't feel for themselves what I feel for them, right? And so I don't know. I don't know that I'm more self-aware. I think for a long time I was really driven by emotion, really driven, and I lived in emotion. And it's kind of fun to live in emotion because when you let emotions drive everything you do is justified, right?
Yeah, in a way.
Like if you get mad, if you get sad, if you get jealous, whatever, like it's all justified to you because the emotion is driving it. But once you learn how to kind of like stoically step back and observe your feeling and go, oh, that feeling is sadness.
Yeah.
Why am I feeling sadness? What is the thing that kicked it? It's honestly a little more boring. It's not as fun, right? I think there's probably a reason why there's not a whole lot of Stoics that are like killer artists, right? They're great philosophers,
Yeah.
but it's, I don't think Kurt Cobain was a stoic. I don't think that I don't think Metallica and those
Yeah.
guys. So yeah, I would. I don't know that I'm more self-aware. I don't think that I am. I find a lot of people that are level, that they stay in a narrow band of emotion. I think you can look at those people and you can say one of two things. You can either say, oh, they don't experience feelings,
Hmm.
or you can say they do experience feelings, they just don't let it change them. And now that I've kind of learned a little bit about how to understand my feelings, I would say that I probably think more about these other people that way. I kind of look at people that are level and I'm like, oh, kind of jealous of you sometimes, But I don't know, I'm pretty chill now. I used to not be this chill. Oh, this is better. Yeah.
So what changed?
I Probably the biggest thing that changed was I realized, and I have to be reminded of this all the time because I forget, your failures are always private.
Mm-hmm.
Just by definition. Like if you're an artist and you write a song and you release it and nobody listens to it, it's private.
Yeah.
Like your failure is private. So your successes are public. Like only the good things you do actually become public, because becoming public is something that happens when you do something good. Nobody pays attention to the stuff that sucks, right? And so I think just kind of realizing that, and I would compare, like even when I was learning to play guitar, had never played a concert ever before, I was comparing myself to those guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't comparing myself to the guy that I was playing on stage with that night. I was always just like beating myself down because I wasn't the top. And once I finally learned, like, there's people that love my music, like, love my music. And they tell me how it moves them. They tell me how it's changed their lives. They tell me that it's like brought them out of bad times and put them on a good track. And they send me videos of their kids dancing to my music or their family singing the song or whatever. It's like, I have to like stop and think about how incredible it is to be a part of somebody's life that way, right?
Yeah.
Like, and just to like go easy on myself, because I've always been very hard on myself. So yeah, I think just learning to do that has really helped out.
So I have this theory that all of us were actually supposed to be artists,
I agree.
but we were not able to do so. We ended up picking up different professions.
Mhm.
But the ultimate aim of life is to make art. Have you watched that film called Dead Poet Society?
Yes. Is that Robin Williams?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he has this dialogue that, poetry, art is what we stay alive for. Engineering, science, all of that is for survival.
Yeah.
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 I'm a strong believer of that.
I mean, like, if you think about it, like, what the average person now is looking at a screen like 9 hours a day, right? And they're awake for 14 hours, right? So most of the time you're doing this. This is not natural. Nothing about this. This, I think we will look back at this period in life and be really kind of sad about like what we became, how distracted from each other we became, how we stopped feeling things. Like, you can just listen to the music that is on the top of the charts today, and it is not deep, it is not emotional, it's not connecting, it's catchy, and it sticks in your mind while you're listening to it. But as soon as it's gone, it's gone. Like, it's not hanging around. And if you go back further in time, like you go back to like the Enlightenment period, the Renaissance period, and you listen to the music that was created then, it is unbelievable. Like, your soul reverberates, like your body quakes. You feel that there's emotion to it. It shakes you. Um, and I think we're going back to that. I genuinely think here in the last like 3 to 4 years, probably 4 years, people really kind of started rejecting some of that stuff. And they started moving more towards be more in nature, be more traditional in your relationships, be more engaged with the people around you, spend time by yourself.
Do you think that's coming back?
Yeah, yeah. And I think it's coming back because it's natural. Like, I don't know, we probably talk to 40 people a day, right? Through text or through an email or whatever. And nobody has deep relationships anymore. Like I don't know what the stat is, but it's like, I think it's like 60 to or maybe 80% of men in America say that they don't have a best friend,
Yeah.
right? Like people don't have good relationships anymore. Yet we talk to everybody all the time. So what does that say, right? So that means that the depth of a relationship is not dependent upon how easy it is to contact somebody. It's something that takes effort. You have to work for it. And this is where I like circle back to like everything seems to go back to like Bitcoin, like proof of work. Like you have to put proof of work into your body, your relationships, your music, your sleep, your diet, how you manage your finances, how you clean your house, how you arrange. Like I got really into designing spaces. Like you've seen like the music room, right?
Yeah.
Like everything there, I looked at it and I was like, how can I make this feel like it's like an English social club, gentleman's club, like a very refined air. And how can I make it easy for people to just walk in and sit and feel at home? And you think about like, okay, if I'm here and I'm going to get up and walk over here, like what are the most common paths that I'm going to take? And so I have to make sure that nothing's in the way, right? You think about your life, like you can program your life much in the same way that someone else is programming you right now with an algorithm, but you could do it intentionally if you wanted to, right? It would just take some thought and intention. So, yeah. That's kind of what I think about that, I guess.
So, since you talked about programming your life, how was it like for you? Did you do music all your life? How much were you involved when you were doing music during college, work, all of that?
So I had I played my first gig when I was the end of my senior year. So I was student body president. I thought that it was not a good look if I was like playing guitar in a bar.
Mm-hmm.
I was in this like very proper role, like wore a suit every day and I had an office and all that stuff, And so I waited until I was out of office. I played my first show like the day after. And from then on, I just started playing a lot of acoustic shows. For probably 15 years, I played between 50 and 100 shows a year. I ended up forming a band. Actually kind of formed a couple bands because like members change and I moved and I went to places. But my core band, I had the same guys for like 7 years. We toured quite a bit, tour bus, played some award shows together, fairs and festivals, wrote songs.
Was your best friend also there?
Was my what?
The best friend you mentioned was
no. So he had his own band.
Oh.
So this was when I kind of like grew up and went to be my own guy. Started my own band, and did that. So yeah, I just played a lot, and dude, when I started, it was like nothing. Like you would play for $50. You would play for very little money. And then as it went on, it started to feel more like a business. And, you had to like get an LLC and get merchandise and like start figuring all this other stuff out. And I hated that part of it. I still hate that part of it. I just want to play music. I like designing merchandise. I think that's kind of fun. That is kind of cool. But yeah, just playing a lot of shows, a lot of long, very long nights because I was working full time too. So there was a lot of times when I would like leave work, drive 6 hours to play a show, play the show, drive 6 hours, get back, and go to work, and like not sleep, you know. And we did that a lot. But yeah, it's just so much fun. Like there's the feeling that you have, like being an artist is one thing, I've never really considered myself like a true artist. Like I think a true artist is somebody that they're just gonna do what the hell they're gonna do. Like they don't care. Me, I kind of care. Like I want other people around me. And so like when I went from playing solo shows, just acoustic shows, to playing with a band, that changed everything about because then when you're playing a solo show, all the pressure's on you.
Yeah.
You're really close to the audience, you know. They're typically really small shows, little bars, you know. And it's very personal. And like I said, everything's on you. When you have a band, it's just you and your boys. It's just you and it's like a team, and you don't care who's out there. A lot of times you can't even see them because the lights are in your
So
face.
much, yeah.
Yeah, you can't even see the people, and so you're just there, like, and the feeling of getting into a groove, and like truly like meshing, like feeling each other and being able to connect on a deeper level than just, you know, it's a very, I mean, yeah, it's as intimate of a thing as you can get, I think, to make music. I think it is just as intimate as lovemaking. Like to make music with other people, especially, you know, people that you care about, guys that you love genuinely as a person, you know. When you hit that groove, and it doesn't happen all the time. It doesn't happen every night. Sometimes it happens on this song and not this song, whatever. But when it happens, everybody knows it, right? Everybody knows it. And you just look around and you're just so excited, you know. It's like time slows down. Yeah. So, yeah. It's just a great feeling. Like to make music with other people, it is incredible. And I agree with you. Like I think that you look at little kids, like they are the purest expression of what we are as human beings before anybody else messes with them and ruins their ideas about the world, right? You look at little kids and they're artists. They're making things. They're singing songs. They're
Yeah.
making up songs to themselves. They're dancing. They're painting or whatever. Like, dude, humans are art. Yeah, yeah. It's an
They're
expression.
just so curious about everything. Like kids naturally start dancing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a kick switch for my headlights. 4 on the floor, headed home tonight. But now I don't know how long I'm gonna be. When the sun and I rise again, I'll be feeling sick as sin. But the preacher man says, don't worry, he'll save me. Just a good old boy from the country, always taking care of my own, looking out for the ones that love me, harvesting the seeds I've sown. We like simple country things that aren't hard to find, floating down the river in the full moonlight, taking out our trucks and finding some mud. We like girls in tight jeans and bottles of Bud. I'm only free from the farm till the fields get dry. So let's park in the shade and make the most of our time, and pray that no one we know comes driving by. But when I'm back in the cab with the radio on, it'll all come back when I hear our song. Knowing you're there for me makes those acres fly by. I'm just a good old boy from the country, always taking care of my own, looking out for the ones that love me, harvesting the seeds I've sown. We like simple country things that aren't hard to find, floating down the river in the full moonlight, taking out our trucks and finding some mud. We like girls in tight jeans and bottles of bud. Oh yeah. Fun-loving crowd, and no, we don't mean any harm. We like the girls and the guns and the God-given farm. A little hard work never hurt nobody. So what we drink and we sing and we laugh and we dance. We're blessed people, proud of what we have, and that's hard to find when your pockets are this empty. We're all just good old boys from the country. Yeah, we're always taking care of our own. Oh, we pray each night for our families. Never forget where we're from. We like simple country things that aren't hard to find. Quoting down critters in the full moonlight, taking out our trucks and finding some mud. Like girls in string bikinis and bottles of bud. Like girls in string bikinis and bottles of bud. Something like that.
Oh, that was amazing.
Bottles of bud. Yeah.
This was the first song.
Yeah, I think that was the first song I ever really wrote.
This
First
was-
song I know it's the first song I ever played on guitar that I wrote.
Which was when you were 20.
21.
21.
Probably 21.
Wow.
Yeah.
But you remember it so well.
I was surprised. I was more surprised than I was shocked.
When was the last time you played it?
Probably 3 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. If not more. Yeah,
Wow.
probably 3.5. Yeah. Man, that was way easier. Yeah, no, that was good. Yeah, and so yeah, just I think about those because I played those songs a lot, you know. Yeah. No, thank you. This is fun. This is
You're
awesome.
amazing.
Thank you. All right. Any more? We done?
Yeah, that's all.
Keep watching this podcast. She rules. Best interviewer ever.
How does somebody follow your music? Where do we find you?
You can find me. So if you just look up my name, Lucas Maddy,
Mm-hmm.
LucasMaddy, Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, etc., YouTube. I'm at Lucas Maddy on X on Twitter, and I think it's Lucas Maddy Music on Instagram.
Awesome.
Yeah.